everybody. I'm Razorvine. I'm the Gaymer Media Geek, and me and my friend here, Carl, and my friend Mason, who's using the camera right now, we just watched Godzilla, the new legendary picture. It just came out this year at a midnight showing, basically. You know,
Just
about. And we wanted to share our thoughts about the movie because
Godzilla.
yes, really, it's all about just being Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the first thing to say is that since this is the second time an American company has tried to do Godzilla, that it is. I will just flat out say it was a lot better than the Matthew Broderick horrible, terrible.
That's not an accomplishment.
No, not really, honestly. But anybody probably could have done better. Well, not anybody, but I think that the thing that that made this, how do I, they took the lore and they understood it and they worked within it and still made it accessible to American audiences in a way that hardcore kaiju fans will be able to appreciate, I guess, in a way that wouldn't alienate those hardcore fans. God, where do I even start? I guess obviously, if you're going to be watching this, there's probably going to be a few spoilers here, so if you don't want to know anything about the movie, you probably shouldn't watch this.
Giant monsters punch each other. That's all you need to know.
Well, yes. I think that I really love that. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, do you want to start at the beginning? I was going to say, good place, traditional. Start at the beginning.
Yeah.
What has changed?
Well, what do you mean? What has changed? I mean,
his origin has changed a bit.
Oh yeah, I mean that was they. You go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
so
just so tired.
No, that's fair. It's 1:30 in the morning. In the original films, Godzilla is a dinosaur who was mutated by the atomic testings shortly after World War II in that time period. And in which when he wakes up, goes nuts, smashes Tokyo, and is destroyed by Dr. Serizawa's oxygen destroyer, a chemical weapon that wipes out all life in the Sea of Japan. In the new movie, Godzilla is one of a number of creatures that predate the dinosaurs back when apparently Earth is so covered in radiation that that's pretty much what they're living off of. So he's pretty much always just been Godzilla. He's pretty much always just been asleep, and the atomic tests in the post-war era were not so much tests as attempts to destroy Godzilla, who was apparently woken up by the atomic bombs again.
Yeah, it felt like for the movie being titled Godzilla, that Godzilla wasn't in a lot of the movie.
He wasn't, no. And it wasn't about Godzilla. If you've ever watched a Godzilla movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He is a character. He's the main character. In this, I kind of got Cloverfield vibes. He's an event. He's a environment hazard.
I mean, that's kind of what the original movie was all about.
Yeah, it was.
In the way the fact that Godzilla was, the original movie was about Godzilla basically being a walking nuclear explosion.
He is a disaster.
And that was I definitely got that feeling from this, from the monsters, the way they moved and the way they, except for we'll get to the Mutos. Those things.
Yeah.
Those things. That was just kind of. I like their design. They're cool monsters, but it's one of the things that kind of slightly disappointed me actually. There was this teaser trailer like last year, I think, that came out, and it showed it was basically this design of the monster, but it showed Godzilla moving slowly through what appeared to be like maybe a deserty type city, a city that was in the middle of the desert or something like that.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
And you could see him slowly moving like through a building, and like the dust was falling, and it was light out, but it was so.
Yes, I remember exactly one. Sort of like from a subway tunnel, he's just sort of moving up out of the earth or the debris or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
and it was like slow and it was
Very
it was a
powerful.
very beautiful shot. And unfortunately,
And
there
it's just
wasn't
not
there
there.
wasn't anything like that in this movie, and it's a little bit too bad because clearly the technology was there to do that. And not that any of the shots in this movie were terrible or anything like that. We saw it in 3D, full disclosure. It didn't hurt the movie in any way. That's for sure. It didn't feel like, I'm not sure. It wasn't like Avatar, where I felt like it was part of the movie in such a way that it was so important that it needed to be there.
That's a whole other issue. 3D nowadays, yeah.
But it didn't hurt the movie in any
No.
way. I would say if you have the money, it wouldn't hurt you to see it in 3D.
No.
Origins, blah blah blah. Okay. I think the other thing that it felt like okay. So the first half of the movie is kind of sort of this conspiracy thing going on, and then the second half is dealing with the fact that these monsters have shown up, basically, and I think that there was a little bit. It felt like certain things didn't fully jive 100%. Like the first half of the movie was tonally different. So
A little bit.
I mean, again, the movie wasn't bad. It was just, how do I put it? The first half of the movie had the conspiracy stuff, and it felt like they were building up to a more darker film than it turned out to be, which I'm generally okay with, because Godzilla, it's hard to do Godzilla. Like the original movie was
It's a dark movie.
was a really dark movie, and it's really hard to do Godzilla nowadays and make him dark because of the fact
We're so separated from that.
well, we really are. No, very few people remember the original movie and how dark it was, and if you tried to do that to Godzilla now, you would alienate a whole hell of a bunch of the audience, honestly. But I feel as if that they found the right balance, to a certain extent. There were some really, I think, weird choices though. Like the Navy basically
Parking all their ships right in the San Francisco Bay.
no. Like the Navy basically, what's the word? Escorting Godzilla.
Yeah, that was a weird one. And there's this massive spines jutting out of the water, and the ships are like 400 feet away. It's like, how is the displacement from his movement not capsizing?
Well-
I'm not a naval engineer. I don't know boats, but that just seems weird.
Well, hey, how about more along the lines of it's a dangerous freaking
Oh,
monster.
you mean the fact that they're running an escort?
Yes.
Besides the mechanics of it? Yeah, that was weird.
I mean, especially because they didn't have any control over him. It wasn't like they had any control over him or anything like that.
No.
They're just riding alongside him.
See what's going to happen. What could possibly go wrong? So, basic premise. An earthquake wakes, or something, I don't even know what it was, wakes up one of these prehistoric kaiju radioactive eating monsters, which are the Mutos. It travels across the ocean to a nuclear power plant in Japan, which it then smashes, needing to eat radiation, builds a nest in, and lays dormant for the next 15 years. After 15 years, it has eaten all the radiation from this power plant and has decided that it's had a snack and now it's time to get busy. Sends out a pulse to a female Muto in wherever they moved it, Arizona.
It was Las Vegas.
Yeah, just outside Las Vegas,
Las
yeah.
Vegas and Nevada, yeah. Because the idea was that when they originally found
They found the nest in what was it?
some mining. It was some weird mine.
A South Pacific island nation. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. One of the beasts had hatched from its egg, and the other one was still.
Yeah, that's what attacked the nuclear plant.
The one that had hatched attacked the nuclear power plant, that was the male. The female one was vivisected apparently and shipped off to America for storage, which apparently survives vivisection.
Yes.
And then it wakes back up for no real reason. It was just, oh, that's right, because I stored it with the nuclear waste dump.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes.
So it's eating
Well,
that.
that's the interesting thing about these monsters is like literally the story. I mean, like what he mentioned earlier is all of these the kaiju in this, at least as far as we know, in this universe survived because of the fact that they ate radiation, like flat out.
And as the radiation levels on the surface decreased, they went further and further under the ocean underground to get to the radioactive core of the planet, blah, blah, blah. Because that makes scientific sense.
Well, yeah. Well, but
giant monsters punch each other.
Giant monsters punch each other. Well, here's the more dumb thing. Over and over again, we're like, we know these fucking monsters thrive on fucking radiation, but we're gonna try to kill them with nuclear weapons because that makes
gonna blow them up.
That makes no fucking sense.
And they even address this in the movie. It's like, we're gonna lure the mutos out into the sea, which will lure Godzilla, who's trying to kick their ass, because Godzilla doesn't eat radiation. He just kicks ass.
Yes.
We don't know why he doesn't ever stop to try and eat anything. He just sort of goes. And then we're gonna nuke him.
Yes.
And Dr. Sarazawa, yeah, that name's back, if it rings a bell, goes, hang on a second, we did this for like 2 decades and it never worked. Yes, but we have a bigger bomb this time.
We have a bigger bomb.
We have a bigger bomb.
It's gonna work, right?
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Well, besides the fact that, so halfway through the movie, there's this whole plot where they're moving these bombs across America because they want to get them to San Francisco before the monsters get there, because all the monsters are gonna meet right on top of San Francisco.
Yeah, it's never really established why they're going to San Francisco. I don't think there's any power plants there. I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't really make. Well, I think it's just.
Oh, no, because the female was in the area.
I think the idea was that basically that it was the point where they would meet up because of the fact that it was speed. Basically.
Yeah, 2 monsters. Okay, from the monster's point of view, 2 monsters want to get laid. Godzilla's moving in to cock block them.
Yes.
Hilarity ensues.
That's totally what the.
That was the
movie
plot.
Was about. Well, the idea that Godzilla was hunting them to create
Godzilla
balance.
being the alpha predator, that's what the term
Yeah,
means.
but I guess that makes sense to a certain extent. But then Godzilla didn't eat them or anything like that. He just kind of killed them.
He killed them, then he sort of passed out for a while.
Yes.
Spoilers! Godzilla survives. Nothing goddamn kills Godzilla.
No, but so they're taking these nuclear missiles across the country, and clockwork nuclear missiles. I didn't know that was a thing.
The ignition key is done clockwork because it's old from the time from back in the post-war era, I guess. I don't know. I thought they were using electronics then.
Well,
I don't know.
Clockwork nuclear missiles.
Fuck what I know about nuclear missiles.
Anyways, clockwork nuclear missiles. But okay, the whole point of that was because apparently the 2 main monsters that
the mutos have an EMP pulse and can
just turn off electronics. So that was the whole point of that. But so anyway, so they bring these nuclear missiles. They're bringing them across the country, and apparently monsters are really, really super smart. And one of them knocks the female, because I believe that was the one that was closest.
The male flies, the female's bigger and is terrestrial. Whatever.
She knocks the train that was bringing the nuclear missile off the track, and then she eats one of the freaking missiles. I remember that very clearly. She eats one of the missiles.
Yes, she just sort of gobbles that goddamn thing down.
And which I assume had something to do with helping her.
She was pregnant.
Lay eggs or whatever.
Much like in the first American Godzilla movie, the monster's pregnant.
So the monster, she eats it and then she just goes. She's going back. She's going to San Francisco, and then there's still apparently another missile.
Let's get to that one later on. Do we want to go with the problems with the missiles? Okay, so this movie is kind of spatially confused and the motivations are a little off. Like we're saying, we want to blow up the monsters with all these missiles. We have to travel them by train because if you get too close to the monsters, a plane will get scrambled. The electronics in the plane will be scrambled. It'll fall out of the sky. I think you can fly a plane without electronics. You can at least glide it. I don't know. So, like he says, the train gets smashed, the bomb gets eaten. We have a scene jump with time cut. The missile is fine. There's a spare that you have another one lying around just in case it takes 2 shots with your giant nukes. And they airlift it out along with our main character, who's a bomb disposal expert, so he gets carted around everywhere.
So, okay.
Where does the bomb go from there? 'Cause
No, well, this is the hilarious part. So they bring it all the way to the goddamn city, basically, and then the monster takes it.
I don't even remember how it got it the second time.
I vaguely, yeah, it's kind of, I just remember that it's like,
it built a nest.
It built a nest around the bomb, so it had to have known what was in the bomb. I mean, well, that's kind of the implication.
They can smell the radiation from an ocean away and go and be like, okay, I'm going to go eat this power plant now.
Yes. There's a lot of weird implications in this movie. There are lots of really weird implications about the intelligence level of the monsters in the damn movie.
Right.
I think that's one of my. It just throws me off just a little bit, because there's definitely.
The main character in Godzilla do have a little moment.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's sort of wandering around a random street and he gets knocked over by some debris, and all of a sudden there's Godzilla there, and we see for the first time Godzilla's oh so human eyes, and it's actually a pretty nice moment, but it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla's face is obscured by dust, and he goes off to be Godzilla.
Be Godzilla.
Kick ass.
Kick ass, take names, chew bubblegum, etc., etc.
Godzilla does not care about your name. He just wants you to keep them. Unless you're Ghidra, then it's personal.
Yes, well, that would be interesting to see.
I really want to see King Ghidra in this style.
In this style, it would be really cool, I think. I mean, I like the design of the monsters.
Yeah, those are fine. They look I kind of got Cloverfield vibes from them too. They look kind of like it with the multiple limbs and the spidery elbows every which way.
You reminded me of. Okay, so the military was really fucking stupid in this movie. Just like incredibly stupid. It's like we know they fucking make EMPs, and we're still doing lots and lots of things that require us.
Apparently, no long-range ballistic capabilities.
Well, not only that, but they kept on doing plans that involved them using electronics.
Oh my god.
Over and over again. It's like, dude, you know these fucking monsters have EMP pulses.
Every time it's like, okay, we're gonna fly in our planes because, oh Jesus, they fell out of the sky. What's this, the third time? One of these times it's gonna stick.
Well, it's like the boat needed to get away from the fucking monster. It's mostly electronic. It's
yeah, I mean, it's like a canoe, just gonna, okay, row.
Well, I know, but it's
they're a escape boat, because they have to lure it out into the harbor.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you guys thinking? I think, there were some really dumb moments in there too, like the kid thing.
The kid. Which
like,
one? They're both kind of dumb.
Well, I'm okay with the main
the son or
random
the adopted child?
The random Japanese child, which that tiny little subplot
that served no purpose to anything.
Well, other than just to
give some
ramp
pathos
some
for
sort of
what's his
tension,
name?
yeah.
No, Ford. Ford's his name.
Ford.
Main character.
Yes, he's a main character in a Godzilla movie, so he's about as
interesting as Pace.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, and that's okay because that's really totally what
that's Godzilla.
Godzilla movies are all about with main human characters, anyways. Bryan Cranston, who plays a major part in the first part of the movie, but does not make it all the way through. In fact, does not get to see most of the major action going on, actually.
He's there at the nuclear facility for the first Muto attack. His wife dies. Scene jump 15 years later, he's a crazy-ass hermit who keeps breaking and entering into a contaminated waste field. God, we don't even know how many times he's been in there. The second time which he realizes, there's no radiation here. Mysterious. You were in there at least once before and you didn't notice that.
You would,
as a nuclear engineer, head nuclear engineer of this facility.
Well, and then there's just there's so many questionable things about what governments. I feel like
the secret monarch organization. Who the hell are they?
I don't. Well, other than
there's an organization called Monarch, who are researching kaiju. Basically, they are top secret. No one knows if they're a corporation, a corporate entity, if they're some subdivision of NATO, if they're part of the UN. If who knows where the fuck these people? They're just Monarch.
Mhm.
They are
Well, and they're the whole. Okay, we were trying to contain it, because we were afraid that if we, it's just a lot of weird and questionable, like. Well, okay, we're trying to contain it, but the way we were going to contain it is with large metal wires.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make some sort of a Faraday cage or a Tesla coil sort of thing, because they zapped it. When the thing's starting to hatch and they finally get a hold of this guy's notes, because 3.5 floppy disks, unlike everything else in the area, can't be disrupted by an electromagnetic pulse.
I think those were like zip drive type floppy disks.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know.
They were huge.
It was 98. They looked like 3.5 to me.
No,
they were thicker though. They were
zip. They were like. Do you know what zip drives are?
I might be a little too young for that. They were big drives.
Yeah, but anyways, point being, yes, you're right.
Nothing else in the area, including the facility built around this EMP releasing creature, isn't shielded against it. But the random drives are. And then they realize, oh, this thing's gonna hatch now. Okay, let's kill it. Zap. No, didn't work. It's a Godzilla monster.
It like, so yeah, it basically, and then like it goes off to attack Hawaii. Godzilla shows up. They have a big fight, and
we don't even see the first fight. I mean, we see a little bit in radio coverage, but it's like, oh, the kid's woken up. There's monsters fighting on the news.
We see it in radio.
We see it in radio coverage.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean
news coverage?
News coverage. Yeah. It's
Orson Welles comes on with the Mercury Theater to cover Godzilla.
But okay, I think in general, I think that overall it's a good picture. I would go see it again probably. I'm not sure I would see it in 3D again because I don't want to spend that much money.
No, it's almost $20 for a person. So.
Yeah. Well, it was better than we did just regular 3D. The theater we were going to also had 3D IMAX, but I didn't want to stay up didn't want to wait till 12.
Yeah, it was like 12:30 in the morning for that showing, and there were 20 minutes of previews beforehand.
Yeah. It's like what, 1:30 now?
No, I think it's closer to 2.
Well, final thoughts.
I'm going to give it a C as a kaiju movie, a B as a summer movie. It's fun, it's not smart. I can't keep track of where people are going half the times or why. We didn't even get into the problems with the timer on the bomb.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was another thing.
Oh my god.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
And I was happy, yeah. I
think it was a good movie. Again, I'd see it again. I'm not sure whether I definitely couldn't see it in 3D again, only because it's so expensive. If you have enough money, I'd say that's not necessarily a problem. It doesn't hurt the movie in any way, and there's a few neat moments. There are a few neat moments because it's a monster movie, so
you gotta have your moments.
Yeah. And I believe that it definitely is I'd say it's a good entry into the series as a whole. It's not the best entry in the series, but considering what we as Americans did to Godzilla the last time, this is definitely
something of an apology.
What?
Maybe an apology. Maybe
I, as an American, apologize for the last Godzilla movie.
He does get a nice little send off in this one.
Yeah. Well, although that in and of itself is a little kind of weird and dumb.
Do we want to talk about the ending?
Let's talk about that little bit, because that just is so kind of stupid, I think.
So Godzilla's been fighting these two Mutos, and Godzilla wins because he's Godzilla. At which point Godzilla takes like 5 steps onto the beach and goes, "Okay, I'm tired now." Then we have some, ticking clock. The bomb's gonna go off. Blah blah blah. It goes off. No one cares. It's Batman all over again. And then we have the main character reunited with his wife, with his son. Everyone's happy. You've got Dr. Serizawa looking at Godzilla.
And Godzilla looks like he's dead.
He's dead. There's rubble all over
there's
him.
Rubble all over, and there's birds.
There's birds coming
for
lunch.
That was like the indication that he looked like he was dead,
And then we go on and do something else for a few more minutes.
Yes.
That's the take out there.
Well, yeah, it was. It was kind of. I felt for a few seconds. I'm like, wow, they're gonna go with killing Godzilla off, which is, which is kind of brave for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
especially with franchises being
yeah,
what they are now.
yeah. But of course, it's a fake out. You know.
Of course.
Yeah, and if you
All of a
know,
sudden, he just sort of wakes up.
yeah, he just kind of wakes up. He stands up, and he gets this weird standing ovation thing
Everyone
going on.
goes, "Yay, Godzilla! He fought the Mutos. They were the bad monsters because they had glowy red eyes."
Yes, because everybody knows who Godzilla is. Yeah, there's this weird disconnect in the universe
Because
a little bit.
Godzilla is friend to the children.
Yeah, no, that's Gamera.
Yeah, it is Gaymer. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Which that would be a fucking awesome
I want to
movie.
see Godzilla kick Gaymer's ass. It'll
Yeah,
never happen.
Yes. Well, that's because the two companies
Rival, yeah.
Anyways,
But there's this nice news crawl as they,
Yes,
watch
this news
Godzilla
crawl.
wander off into the sea, as Godzilla is wont to do.
Mhm.
It just says, "King of monsters, savior of our city, or whatever."
and
And this
is savior of our city? Question mark.
There's like no building intact at all. No stone on
Yeah.
top of another. It's like there is no city to be saved here.
Anyways,
It's like rescued our city. I don't know.
well, I
Yeah.
had a good time.
It was fun.
Um,
This is just coming out, so we're just kind of at
mm,
2 in the morning, so we're kind of buzzing right now.
I think let's end the movie there.
Yeah.